So who is attacking?
I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's the media. I don't know if it's. I think greed has something to do with it. But sometimes it's deeper than what we see it as. Sometimes it might be government that's pulling strings, and because when you look at the landscape of rap and you look at the people that was creative and innovative and saying stuff that could uplift like the minorities or the poorer areas, those people have all been silenced. Their voices have been silenced, so they have to speak in other ways. So I don't know what's that, but I do know greed has played a symbolic impact in the demise of our culture, because it got to a point where there was new artists that would come to me for advice, like, how do I get on the mixtape? Such and such wants such and such thousand to get on the mixtape. I don't know how to get on the mixtapes. And so you have stuff like that, and then you have the certain radio guys, they want to get paid for this, your songs to get played, and then you got executives and the companies, they don't look at the creative side of it, they look at the business aspect, which you can't knock them because it's an investment, but it's not that serious of an investment. So when you think about it, it's like if you make a creative masterpiece, especially during the 90s, not late 90s, is what really killed rap. Because if you made an incredible album during that time, but it didn't go platinum, it was deemed as a failure. It got to a point where gold was looked at as underachieving, and that's when it all went wrong. Because when artists was first doing it, you could you could sell 350,000 albums and have a successful career back in the days, and people were content with making music that everybody could enjoy. It's like it got to a point where people were making embarrassing music, like making fools of themselves, but making so much money that if you even, like when we from the era when if you was whack, you was whack. We didn't care if you was rich or what you had. Now, and then it became to the point where whack dudes were starting to get pushed into the limelight, and if you say something about their whackness, then you're a hater.
Right.
So the word hater had to become a shield, and then it all went downhill from there. It's greed. One of the biggest things that hurt our culture was greed.
So you're saying, like, to go platinum, basically, you have to cross over in some way.
Definitely.
And so once that becomes like the standard, then everybody has to make records for the mainstream.
Definitely. It depends on what you want to do as an artist, because some artists don't get it. There's some artists that are independent that are living well beyond their means, that are living well beyond people's expectations. You got brothers like Tech Nine and E40 have more money than a lot of guys that are going platinum on majors. And then it comes a time where you just got to have it depends how much integrity you have as a person, because the industry is a piggyback thing. Like if they see 50 Cent's success was a perfect example. When 50 Cent blew up, all of a sudden it became like back in the days, the mandate was be good. You had to be if you was nice on the mic, you had a chance. When 50 Cent blew up, it's like labels started pushing artists to work out. Like everybody had to get Diesel and stuff like that. Or like when Foxy Brown and Kim, their success was like crazy for women, because after that it was like all the sisters that was positive in that, you never heard them. Like I've literally heard people at labels say, "Oh, we got to get her ass," talking about other girls, or you got to do this or look sexy. It became that instead of the art, so the industry is just incredible.
Well, I think that, you're saying that this album, you're more focused on legacy. That's definitely apparently different, but I think there's like a fiber of similarity in terms of like your drive. I think from your previous albums, it always seemed like there was a sense of like teaching, but not in a preachy way. I think it comes across like, yo, this is the life. This is what I'm dealing with, and this is how I'm putting it out there. And it was also, said with a certain amount of integrity for yourself, who you are as a man. Like having honor and things of that nature. So it feels like this record just has that same spirit, but it's refined from a different type of experience. and so it's interesting, that you get to a song like Industry in the way I think you present it, now versus like maybe some of your other experiences in the music industry and how it came across. And I think the way that, the Industry song is on this new album, first of all, I celebrate you for it because we need to hear it right now in this climate and what's going on musically. But often people say that, a rap game, they use the term the rap game is synonymous with the drug game. And I think, some of your music sort of articulates that, but I think with Industry, you touched on something that's it's the life of the artist. I think the way you broke it down, to me, reflects how governments play with other governments and how lives are not valued. How people start wars to make money. And you broke that down, not speaking about wars, but just the industry and the relationship for the artists in terms of the record companies. And I think that was pretty bold and dope.
It definitely was. It definitely was a huge risk.
Yeah. Can you talk about that a little bit? Like, you knew it was risky, and how much do you care about that?
There's a lot of risk on this album. I knew Industry was a risk, but I knew when you're an artist and you're trying to send a message, you don't want to sound preachy, as he said, because sometimes people don't want to hear that. They just want to be entertained, or they want to hear what they want to hear. But one of the things that benefits me as an artist is what they call street credibility or whatever. Is my reputation from the street or whatever is authentic, and everybody knows that.
That's why I say you legend, man.
I don't even try to glorify it either. So if I'm talking, street dudes will listen, or the younger guys will listen. And then one of the most important things that I did was take responsibility as a man and as an artist. Because hip-hop in itself, a lot of things indoctrinate. Hip-hop is a thing that indoctrinates. People want to be like it, and people want to be like the people that they admire. I've met dozens of people that have my lyrics tattooed on them, which blew my mind. If you look on Twitter right now, there's a guy on there talking about, I'm going to send you the picture of the tat today. Like, that's,
That's bananas.
So it's like, when I started seeing the impact that I had on people, like, people know that I came from jail. People knew that, so I didn't have to sing about it or brag about it in songs. And it's nothing to brag about. Jail is for suckers.
Well, also because Nas...
Me coming home from jail and making it in the music industry, that was a ray of hope for a lot of convicts. Because when you're in jail, you're taught that you're a convict, and you're reminded of it by the COs and by the system, and you're taught your likelihood of making it is very low and that you're going to be nothing. So when people see me come home and get a record deal, that inspired a lot of people. So I wanted to inspire people in other ways. And I know little dudes that wanted to be like me. So when I started making albums, I was telling people about the pitfalls of the street rather than just glorifying it. So now people respect me so much for what I've done in the independent game and, in the industry. So it's like I'm doing the same thing I did in the streets. I dropped jewels, but now I'm trying to navigate you through the industry instead of navigating you through the streets. So the song Industry was important to me because I get tired of the exploitation of our music, and especially of the artists. Like, when you look at the rap industry, there's a lot of stories that don't have happy endings. And there's people that do little to nothing that thrive the most. There's people that do little to nothing. There's people that literally got in the industry because they was cool with somebody and because they brown nosed the right people or because they was in the right circle, and they became executives.
Yeah.
Whereas you have a person like Large Professor. Large Professor never had a job as an A&R. That's a crime.
Yeah.
Think about it. His album Breaking Atoms was groundbreaking. His influence on producers is he introduced the game to Nas. He's done so much that any label that really cares would have gave him a shot as an A&R.
Right.
Like so it's like a lot of my heroes don't get the credit they deserve. I mean, it started bothering me, and then I just wanted to speak, and I wanted people to stop selling the illusion. Like, even with the independent game, you could get jerked. You got labels like Koch that'll tell people, oh yeah, you get 60-40. You don't get 60-40. You don't get 60-40. It's not 60-40. All is not fair, you know. So I wanted to be the one on a song like Industry to express the truths to artists. That's why I said Beef DVDs on BET. So every artist who was on it was beefing for free. You know, like if you listen to that song, and I made sure I said no disrespect intended.
Yeah.
I know he got beats. That's why I said about QD3. And everything I'm saying makes sense. There's no animosity or vengeance in my words. It's self-evident. So I just want to make self-evident music. And I took that risk. And at the end of the day, you know why I was able to take that risk? Because what could happen? I've already been blacklisted before. And, you know, I already said freak it and left the majors and made a lane for myself. So it's like you can't you can't blacklist me independently, or you can't blacklist me to the fans. I'm gonna always find a way. So I'm willing to take the risk, you know. So that's just one of the risks that I took on the album.
I liked your mention of shareholders on that song also, because that kind of gets at what you're really up against. If a corporation the law is that the shareholders have to profit, then how do we change what they value?
Exactly. And, you know, there's a lot of things. You know, one of the biggest misconceptions, one of the big things that really bother me about the industry, period, is often in life, when we see things aren't as equal as they should be or fair as they should be, we often fight for change or for regulation, et cetera, et cetera. It bothers me to this day that record companies make at least, $10 off every record, or maybe $8 if it's discounted. You make so much money off a record, but an artist gets less than, not even $1, not even half of $1. If you get a half of $1, you got a good deal. So it's like the profit margin for the artist as opposed to the company is totally unfair. And it's like even at the end of the day, when you got artists like, an artist goes platinum and he's happy and they'll make sure there's pictures of him with his platinum plaque, but whose glory is that? You got a plaque, that's it. That plaque isn't worth any money. Every album that sells 1 million copies generates $10 million, close to $10 million. There's a lot of people we know that generated $10 million and more that we've seen on TV, bankrupt or this or that, and they're not all reckless spending. So it's like, there's a lot of inconsistencies in the industry. So I just wanted to say freak it and stir up the hornet's nest.
So why keep making music? Why stay in this industry then? Because
I'm not in the industry. I'm on the outer street. Me making music independently the way I do it, I deal with the indie companies I want, or I deal with I put my stuff out digital. With it, you know, I always find ways to do things my own way. When I was on back in when my first record deal was with Violator Records, rest in peace, Chris Light, and that's where I learned about the industry. I was on the shelf, you know what I'm saying? So during my time on the shelf, I did something that wasn't being done at that time. You could do the research. No artist was putting out mixtapes without no album. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't heard of. You might see a best of Biggie, but I made my first mixtape like 1997 probably. You know, by the time we did Survival the Illest tour, my mixtape was old. And people, when we did Survival the Illest tour, I was scared to go. I'm gonna be honest. I was scared. Like when we went to Detroit, Chicago, and all those, I was scared to perform because I thought people was gonna boo me because they didn't know my music. I was like, nobody's gonna know this shit. Then when we got there, I was one of the most popular acts that night, and I was blown away. People were like, we got your album. I was like, I don't got an album. They were showing me the mixtape. So that after that, I started making more mixtapes, and then that became a trend. But very few people give me my credit for that. But it's the truth. So I found that lane. I made mixtapes before it was done. And same thing when I got off of Violator. I had a situation. I could have signed with TVT during the time when Little John was there. That label was big. But my whole thing is this. When you're dealing with corporations, you're dealing with schedules, et cetera, et cetera. I didn't feel like getting on the label. I wanted my album to come out soon. So I knew if I signed with them, I would have to be fit into their schedule, et cetera, et cetera. And I was just on the shelf for 4 years. I didn't have waiting time, so I put out my album independently, and I thrived. I was getting phone calls from Interscope and other people. You know, I didn't want to go back after that, so I was like, freak it. You know, I could sell 50,000 records and be more happy than somebody that sold 850,000 records. So I was like, this is it.
Do you recommend for artists that are starting out that they go more of an independent route?
If an artist is starting out, I think indie is good. I think it depends. See, if an artist is starting out, like if a label's going to make you Eminem, then go for it. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't matter. Like, he's so successful. Like, his success is so gigantic that he's his own entity now.
Right.
So he could quit that and do his own thing now. So if they're gonna blow you up, then go to major then. But if you build yourself, like say you're a new artist, and then you start making your own mixtapes and you develop your own buzz and you're big and people are flooding to you, you could be successful without it. Like what's the guy name? Mac Miller. I mean, is that his name? Mac Miller? Mm-hmm. Majors was trying to holler at him. He's like, freak y'all. He went indie. And he's still good, you know what I'm saying? So independent is definitely the route. Is an excellent route. You know, I wouldn't recommend majors unless they're going to substantially pay you, or unless they want to do something that's groundbreaking and give you a fair deal. If they say, well, we're going to go 50-50 with you, do it. Or even 60-40, 80-20 even, because 40 cents off an album is not cool. It's nearly impossible to make your money back. And this is another thing. Anytime somebody gives you a loan, it's recoupable. Any loan that you get. You finance a house, a car, any kind of a loan from a bank, once you pay off, once that debt has been paid, you get the deed or you get the title. Once you get a record deal, once you repay that, you still don't get a fair part. Like, there should be amendments.
Yeah, you don't own it.
You don't own nothing. You don't even own your name.
Yeah.
They could drop you off a label. This is the thing that hurts me too. I've known artists that label really didn't care about them. They was on, you know, they pushed them to the side, or they maybe even had plans to drop them. And then, unfortunately, maybe something happens and the artist dies. All of a sudden now, that label loves this artist again. Now this artist is making money. He's generating funds, and his family is barely getting anything because his cut was so small. And then y'all was about to drop him. So it's like an artist gives his all, and the artists die, and they really have nothing to show for it. There's a lot of artists who die whose families are struggling right now. You would think the label would say, all right, let's give them, let's cut them a check, just, but they don't. It's like, it's so many inconsistencies in the game that it's just baffling. And that's why, I just want artists are like sponges, man. And then when we squeeze out out the sponge is our art, and it's for people to appreciate, so I just hope people appreciate it.
I appreciate it. It's interesting because Frannie asked you, why I keep doing it, and I was wondering the same thing in terms of inspiration. Mm-hmm. And this is before I had a chance to listen to the new album. I'm like, for someone who has, like, I feel like your records have gotten better and better with each album, just in terms of your content, your style is pretty much always been consistent from day one. You remind me of Cool G Rap in certain aspects of your cadence and flow and attack, and confidence of, just rhyming, Mm-hmm. But I just feel like even sonically the albums have just gotten stronger and stronger. Mm-hmm. And but I had wondered what motivates you. And then I heard this new album. I was like, oh, yeah, life.
Got it.
You tell me, you hear, what motivates you still after how many albums is it? It's just
This will be the fifth real album. This will be the fifth album. And then I got a compilation, Legal Hustle. That's 6. And mixtape. So I would say it's my 6th.
So 25 years or more, that many albums. So what's your motivation?
To be honest with you, the years that I was in the game, I feel like I underachieved. I'm hard on myself because in the 90s, I didn't put out no album. So I was just there. My first album came out in 2001. So that's another reason why I don't give myself the legend stamp, because I feel like I could have did more. Like, I'm mad at myself. I took 5 years to make a new album. But, you know, I really, one of the things that I promised myself is that my daughter is going to have her father in her life. I didn't want to, you know, I know a lot of artists that's on the road all the time, and, you know how it is. So I wanted to be a part of my kid's life, and it was a sacrifice I made, and I hope she appreciates it when she gets older.
You don't hear many fathers saying that.
Yeah, I definitely, because I didn't, there's 2 reasons that I wanted to be in my daughter's life. Because one, my mother died when I was young, and I missed her. I missed her more as an adult. There's days in my 30s, in my late 30s, that I cried more than I did when I was preteens. You know what I'm saying? So as you grow older, you see the values of life more. You see the values of certain things. I know the value of a father figure, the things that a father instills in his daughter. So I promised myself that I was going to be a better father than I had. You know, no disrespect to my dad, because I love him, and he tried. He did what he could. But I just wanted my daughter's life to be better than mine. So that's one of the risks that I took. But another thing that motivates me, the thing that motivates me the most is the fans. I love the music too. Like, I'm a hip hop head. Large Professor, he teased me about that before, because he's like, I didn't know you was a head like that, man. Like I get excited off of dope beats. Like, I start screaming, like, oh my God, like I get hyped, like it's still 88 or something. But the thing that is nothing like like, you know, there's no high. I don't even get high like that, but there's no high in the world like the adulation on stage. There's nothing like it for me. Like, I feel like I'm in a arena and I'm a gladiator that just won it, that's about to win it. Like, I could be tired, and when the roar of the crowd just wakes me up, and people be like, damn. So it's like, I love the fans. The fans have expanded my mind in so many ways. Not just artistically, but globally, appreciating things more. Because when I was writing my music early in my career, I was writing it for the hood only. I didn't think there would be anybody else that appreciated my music or understood my music. And then in 2001, I'm in Foot Locker in Boston, and a white girl comes up to me. She's a short white girl. She works at Foot Locker. I'm asking about some sneakers. She's like, oh my God, you're Cormega. So I'm like, how the fuck she know who I am? And I'm like, how she know who I am? So I'm like, she one of them cool ones that hang out with the brothers probably. So now I do a show in Boston, and it's like the crowd is majority white. So I'm like, okay, maybe somebody else is here. You know, maybe somebody else is here, and I'm like the opening act. They know all of my words. So now I'm like, wait a minute. So now I'm meeting Oriental people. Oh my God, you Cormega, da 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 da. So I'm meeting people of different cultures and backgrounds and stuff. So I'm like, I'm fascinated that they know my stuff, because I thought it was only for the hood. I didn't know it was global or worldwide. So it's the love that you get from the fans that makes you want to do it more, because a lot of our peers have quit because of the bull crap that's involved in the industry. They just straight up quit. It's not like they quit because they lost their skill, or they just gave up because they got tired. They got tired and worn down from the industry, and that could have been me. But it's people like, when you hear fans, sometimes your fans are your friends more than your friends. Yeah. There's people like, yo, when people come up to you like, yo, your music has changed my life, or I was going through a hard time in my life, and your music helped me get by, like, that does something to you. And it's like, you know, people in jails writing me like, yo, man, you know, I couldn't stop. And then the love that you get from them, and then you meet people with your tattoos on them. I'm in London, somebody is like, oh my God, I love you. This dude brings his father to the studio, his father hugs me. It's like, the fans are very important, man. It's like, it's essential, man. And I always tell artists, sign every autograph. Like, make everybody feel like they're a part of what you do. Don't act funny with them. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, your fan, if you look at it from a business aspect, your fan is really your boss, and your longevity depends on job performance. It's the same thing. The better you are at your job in your field, you get promoted. The worse you are, you get demoted. When you cross over, like there's some brothers that are dope MCs, but then every chance they get, they try to make a record like whatever's popping, whatever's hot, and then the fans get tired of you, and next thing you know, I could probably name close to 100 rappers that were hotter than me, or whatever the term you want to use, when my album first came out, and out of that 100, maybe 15 to 20 of them is still doing music, or still, like, you know, there's artists that was bigger than me that used to act funny, and now it's like, I'm such a non-grudge holding dude. I know people that was funny style with me back in the days that call me for features now, and I've done them. Like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or people that was funny style now, they're out the game. They can't even sell records independently. So I take all this in stride, and I know it's a blessing, because nothing is old. You know what I'm saying? It's a blessing, and this is God willing. You know, it's like it didn't have to happen. So I take everything in stride, man. And so the thing that keeps me going the most is the fans, and me knowing that I know now that I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm here for the long term. I'm not a short. If this is a hotel, I'm not having a short stay. I'm here for the long term. The fans are there with me consistently and loyally, and my job is to find out why they're still here with me and continue giving them exactly what made them stay.
Well, I feel like this album, you know, like I said, I didn't know. And before listening to the album, I was just curious, like, why, what is he, you know, what's the motivation? Then I heard the album, I was like, oh, it's all on this album. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like, I feel like you can't really measure this, and, you know, don't take it the wrong way, but I feel like, if this was like your first or second album, I'd be like, his son got a long career ahead of him. And I know that may sound kind of, you know, crazy and twisted considering like your you know, the resume, but in listening to it, it was so refreshing. I'm like, if this was somebody's first album, it's a damn good album. You know what I mean? And it's just like, where do you go after this? You know, that, like, you look forward to the freshman album. The sophomore album, and then the next and the next and the next. So it's I'm really happy about this record, just in the sense of where you've come from and how much I think you've schooled people, and it's interesting because you are very connected with your fans. You're saying you were making records for the street, but you know, it extended beyond this. And I think your music, it helps people who may be struggling with their environmental situation in terms of like economics or home life or whatever. But I feel like this record is a culmination of all of that, but it has like a new feeling of I don't know what it is, maybe new experience. Like you said, you have a different life now, but it still contains the same amount of information, you know, the experiences of the previous. So it makes me look forward to the next, and not trying to put any pressure on you. I really see, like, you know, another couple more decades worth of music. You know, just hearing the content and the charge and the way you just, like, industry is a huge song, obviously, and that goes without saying, but there's just so much more in depth to what's behind it and everything else. So I'm just looking forward to it.
I appreciate it. Like, hearing that from you, that's one thing that like, the love that I'm getting from my peers lately in the last few years has been I don't even know how to word it. Like, hearing that from you is like, I don't even know what to say, man. Like, right. I'm really thankful for those words. Mm-hmm. Like, I really appreciate it, man. Like, I think early in my career I had a chip on my shoulder. I felt like the world was sleeping on me, and now it's to the point where Rakim has let me perform at one of his shows, and as I'm performing, he's ad-libbing my words. And I was like, hold up, is this Rakim singing my words? Like, I was if you would have said, yo, man, I'm going to give you $50,000, if somebody would have given me $50,000 right there, it wouldn't have exceeded that feeling of having Rakim singing my words. Or when Chuck D says, your new music is like God. He heard this album, like some of this album before. So it's like, Like, the love that I'm getting right now is, like, so crazy. Like, I'm a little emotional right now. So, it's like, I can't even explain it. Like, I'm just, alhamdulillah, you know? Mm. I can't explain it. I can't explain it.
It's funny. There's two things. I don't want to lose my where I'm at. I want to ask you about your relationship with Large Professor. But just to go back, you said you used to rhyme like you had a chip on your shoulder, and it kind of it came off that way. So since you brought it up, let's just go back to that a little bit. Because one of the things I felt is that I'll use the word, the dismissal from the firm, I think set you off on a path that gave your how do I say this? Your life as an artist purpose. And I think had that situation not happened, only the creator knows what our lives would be if certain things, would not happen.
Exactly.
It kind of comes off to me like, and I don't know, you can tell us if you want to talk about your experience and all that. I was kind of happy, fast forwarding now, that your life kind of took that path, because I think it came out in the music in a really good way. Like how you vented and how you expressed it. It was dope. You know what I mean? I think it took the other experiences that you went through and growing up and stuff that you talk about in your story and just living in the life. I think that particular moment was just like, it set you up for everything else.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. One of those beautiful sisters in here in the other room.
Yeah.
We be building on a lot of conscious stuff, and she was like, I want you to hear this. Like, she's fed me throughout the years. She's fed me.
Oh, she's beautiful too, man. You got UK in the building.
She's fed me knowledge.
London, England, what up?
She's fed me shit I didn't know about.
Right.
Like Thomas Sankara. Look him up. Incredible. Like, Malcolm X is like the pinnacle for me.
Right.
Thomas Sankara is like LeBron, how LeBron is a threat to Michael Jordan.
Right.
Thomas Sankara is either right there with Malcolm, or he might be slightly above if you read about him.
Right.
But she taught me a lot of stuff. So one day she sent me that, and I was like, oh my God, this fits perfectly with my intro. Like, I did these vocals already, and then the Siddiqui stuff was just what I was trying to say.
Right.
I said, this is not real. I put it together, and then I sent it to Large Professor, and he did the rest.
But it's a great intro because it's real subtle, and it's giving the audience kind of a taste of what's about to come.
Exactly.
Now you're talking about you never did a deal with your soul.
I never did a deal with my soul included.
Talk about that. You've seen a lot of deals, man.
Yeah. A lot of people sacrifice integrity. A lot of people abandon artistic integrity for monetary gain or for fame, or a lot of people submit to things that they have no understanding of just to fit in. I'm not with that. The one person in the world you can never front on. There's 4 people in this room right now. We could all front on each other.
You can't front on yourself.
You can't front on yourself. Your biggest critic of yourself is your motherfucking mirror.
Or it should be.
Exactly.
It should be.
Because
a lot of people are not
in tune
with themselves.
Some people will break their mirror just so they don't have to deal with that. But I got too much pride and dignity to do certain things, because if I do something and it feels fake, then I'm going to have to deal with myself. Myself will be like...
Your conscience.
My conscience will be like, you played yourself. Or that didn't feel right.
Did you ever have to walk away from money, man?
A few times. Some of that we discussed a few times.
Right.
A lot of situations I could have been a part of if I'd have just said yes, or if I just did it and I said no. And even recently, there's been situations where, I just said no. It's like certain things is just...
Like what? Like certain things like what?
Well, recently my man had a song. I don't know what the song was for, but he got a song with a very big artist on it. One of my favorite artists. It's Snoop. He got a song with Snoop on it, and I love Snoop. But the beat, I don't know what kind of beat it is. It's not hip hop. It's some what other kind of stuff. would I have loved to get on that song? Hell yeah.
Right.
I didn't. I said I can't because it's not gonna sit well with my fans. That's another. A few years ago, my man Spectre Deck was doing an album, and he had a song with Raekwon on it. Now, from my type of hip hop, that's a win-win situation. A song with Ray and Deck, but I didn't like the beat, so I told Deck, let me get on this other song just because the beat I was more comfortable with.
Right.
All day in my phone, I could show you, yo, Mega, I do a feature, and if the artist ain't right or the money ain't right, I'm not doing it. And some artists just do it just to get paper. That's whack.
Or short money that doesn't feel good.
You do something for short money, then you killing yourself. You looking like a sucker. Because at the end of the day, people talk. And you know how I know people talk? Because I hear people talk about all these fucking rappers who's taking this short money. And then dudes have no integrity. They'll tell you, oh, well, such and such did it for such and for this.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. So now you're putting son's business out there.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
So it's like, I'm not such and such. Or it's like, such and such, he might be a similar rapper to me, but I sold over 300,000 records independently. Over. So me and such is different.
Right.
Like, I'm not doing that. So it's like, it's like a lot of stuff, it's a lot of stuff. Certain deals, which we talked about in the past. Oh, well, if you sign this, then you could be down with this. And, some people, where I sign that? I had things to think about.
You talking about the firm.
Yeah, so certain different things. I've turned down a lot of money situations that just wasn't right. Or I've avoided a lot of, when I made The Realness, Interscope Records was calling Land Speed. Land Speed wasn't quick to give me those messages though, because Land Speed wanted me to stay with Land Speed.
Of course.
But I found out, and then I spoke to somebody from Interscope, but I never even set up a meeting. So it's like a lot of situations. Money ain't everything. Money is just paper.
All money ain't good money.
Money don't make you happy. Money takes care of bills and takes care of things, but it doesn't make you happy.
Money's a down payment on a little less stress. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you, for all the years I know you or know of you, you always been fully authentic, man. And, you shoot from the hip, you shoot from the heart. And what you're saying, some people out there, I'm sure, may be struggling, and sometimes take, a deal or money or, they may have a big family or shit is just fucked up, man. And people just, tired of living a certain way. Now, I can't tell you what to tell, some of our listeners, what to do. But, what do you speak to people? Because, not everyone could stay that strong to what you believe in.
Well, put it like this. It's like telling somebody a secret. You won't tell somebody a secret about you that's going to come back and haunt you. When you're doing short money songs, it's going to come back and haunt you. Because they're going to tell them, oh, yeah, I got this verse from such and such for such and such, such and such. Word? Now they're going to holler at you for that
$750, son.
Some dudes, $750. Some dudes are doing it for less than that.
$250.
It's like, come on, son. Like, y'all dudes is fucking the game up. Y'all looking bad out here. Yo, get a job. Like, real talk. Because, you hurting the brand. So then, if there's an artist that's kind of similar to you, people think, oh, well, he's similar to this guy, so maybe I could get him for this. Yeah. I just had a dude the other day, like, when I was doing a show in Boston, like, you could make a quick set. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't even know how you sound. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and it's like, money ain't everything. Money goes, man. Yeah. When you got everybody got a certain way we live. You know how we live. So that money, that's just a day for me. That's just a day of excitement. I might spend that on food and travel and eating and traveling. Or my daughter might want some LeBrons or something.
Yeah, but that record ain't going nowhere.
Exactly. But meanwhile, I know my value. And that's a problem that a lot of artists don't look at themselves as a business. I mean, I used to laugh at a lot of artists, especially from my hood. Like, a lot of people used to be like, Mega is cocky. And then now, when you talk to people that's in the industry that know me, people be like, Mega's like one of the humblest niggas out of everybody from Queensbridge. So it's like, I know my value. It's not about being cocky. It's about knowing your value.
Right.
You're not going to go in a Benz dealer and get a Benz for $5,000. Nah. I don't care how cool you are. Nah. You're just not. So it's like, you sell yourself short, you're going to get short. Yep. So it's like, you have to have a certain thing that you have to have a quota. Stay at your quota.
Got standards.
If you don't got no standards, you don't have nothing.
Yeah. So. Today's artists. And it seems like you're doing the same thing. You're saying we got a position of influence.
Exactly.
And this is our people that we're talking to. What are we talking about?
We're talking about misconceptions and perceptions that are put out there. We're talking about we can't do free commercials for the prison institution of America. We can't keep leading our youth and our olders, because some of the older people still follow what the artists do. Artists are what we have is called indoctrination, the power of indoctrination. Hip hop is so influential. We change the way people dress, the way people talk, the way people
think,
the way people think. Trap house.
I mean, not to interrupt you, but you know, and I know you're familiar with this. Kids that come from good families, kids that come from families of doctors and lawyers and professors, and they want to find some time in the bando or in the trap house, doing dumb shit.
And the very word trap makes me feel uncomfortable.
Right.
There's the word trap. The thing people need to understand, just take it back to basics. Whenever there's a trap, there's somebody who set the trap. You know what I'm saying? So who really benefits? You have to watch that. Hustling is like high school. You go for your years and you get the fuck out. If you want to go to college, that's on you. If you move up and you want to do weight, you want to go to college. After a while, you get out. You be a super senior, you're gonna lose. But as artists, there's pictures of prominence and wealth and good life painted in that, but there's never too many illustrations of the pitfalls and the consequences of that. One thing that I'm always proud of in myself, I always told people about the pitfalls, the downside of it. Like, don't do it. Don't be mega. Don't try to be me. I know little niggas right now that nickname themselves mega. Or I know kids that have said, I want to be like you. Or kids that want to be like this rapper or that rapper. It comes a time when you could be a good rapper. You could be a good singer. You could be a good athlete. But what separates people is when you be a great person. Muhammad Ali is the most beloved athlete of all time. Michael Jordan will always come up short against Muhammad Ali. You know, the Ray Charleses and the James Browns and the Michael Jacksons, they're beloved for more than just their singing and dancing.
For their goodwill. For
you know
what
I'm saying?
Right.
It's like I can't let somebody think it's cool to hustle. That shit is
not in 2014.
Yeah.
Not in 2014.
Yo,
baby.
if you're doing it, I don't condemn nor do I condone. But I definitely don't condone. I'm not condescending, but I'm saying, yo,
you're not going to glorify it.
Exactly.
Right.
And there's too many artists that are comfortable, that have been away from it for too long to
still glorifying it.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on.
Now, are you also saying, because we're talking about drugs, but are you also saying that the industry is a trap?
The industry is sort of a trap. The industry, first of all, the industry is one of the biggest investors in the
industrial prison complex.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that in itself is extremely questionable. And now,
do you think it's a big conspiracy, or is just motherfuckers don't care and they making money?
I think it's a conspiracy. I think when you start talking about the industry, I think it's racism. And
racism is everywhere. Yeah. Racism is baked into the foundation of every goddamn thing in this country.
Especially America. It was built on it.
It's everything.
But I think it's that, and I think it's an effort to suppress and oppress people. Because when I started knowing shit was real, one day I did I forgot these things that we do. Artists make a statement and then we give it to our publicists and they put it out. This is when I knew shit was real. I could say something in a statement. I could have a controversy beef with any artist or whoever, and I could say something, and they will put every word that I said verbatim. They will put perfectly everything I said.
Your timeline will light up in 2 seconds.
They will put every perfect word, fuck you, your mom, or whatever I say, it would be in there perfect. I said something one day, and I said, power to the people. That shit was, power to the people was edited out of my statement. That's when I knew shit was real. And then there's certain things, like, everybody that ever tried to help artists, like with knowledge of self, enlightenment and growth, they've been pushed to the side.
They've been marginalized.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like the industry is just crazy. And I'm going to say something else, too, that I've never said.
Chris Lighty was not suicidal. Straight up. I'm not a professional investigator, but that shit, I always scratch my head about that. Everybody that knows Chris Lighty knows he wasn't suicidal. So there's a lot of funny business in this industry that I can't put my hand on, that I'm not comfortable with. Some of it I speak on and some of it I don't, because I don't know. But I just wanted to get that off my chest too. One of the things that you said in the song that stood out is when you wasn't dissing him, but you said, what does QD3 know about beef? I said, yeah, what did I say exactly? You said I said, and Beef DVD is on BET. So every rapper who was on it was beefing for free. While the royalties go to QD3. He's Quincy Jones' son. What he know about beef? No disrespect intended. I know he got beats, but it's deep how the rich get paid off our grief.